That means they might be down to a Slaughterhouse 5?
Oh my god,
which
that
is
sounds
kind of
familiar.
cool, actually.
Welcome to Inchworm.
The podcast in which we're inching through Worm. I'm Jenny.
And I'm Ted.
We read Snare 13.6. Talk about a snare.
What'd you think?
It was really exciting. It went really well, which probably bodes ill. And, it ended with Grue being captured, so that's not great.
No.
So,
it
went well in some regards, I guess, I should say.
Yes, yes. So the snare, there's this plan, but who got snared? What got snared,
I think there might have been some mutual snaring happening.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah, I think that you should tell us what happened in this chapter.
Well, we jump into things as the Unravelers are surrounding the Slaughterhouse 9 to begin their daring plan. This plan is revealed to us gradually throughout the chapter, but at the beginning they're talking over walkie-talkies. The Unravelers have been split into 3 groups, and though Taylor's the one who came up with the strategy, Grue is their battlefield commander, kind of making sure everyone's in place, waiting to move on the attack as soon as Cherish notices they're there. So they're trying to hold back everyone in the Slaughterhouse 9, except for Bonesaw, who is somewhere else, maybe tracking down Hookwolf or one of the heroes to do her test. But all of the rest of the 9 are marching on, we learn, Dolltown, Parian's territory. Tattletale speculates this is to lure out the heroes for some kind of conflict, but the 9 are just kind of openly walking through town. Jack is throwing his knife out and killing people. Bonesaw's collecting corpses, and they're just kind of out for a stroll in the middle of the city. They've also got Hackjob shuffling along, looking quite worse for the wear, basically, falling apart due to decomposition. Taylor is in particular concerned about Cherish. She's looking through binoculars, watching Cherish just to see, they're trying to stay at least 1,000 feet away because they know that Cherish's power is more sensitive the closer she is to people, so they're hoping that she won't notice that they're there. And Taylor's like, is there any sign on her face that she knows we're here, but she doesn't see anything? Taylor is riding on Bentley with Bitch and Sundancer on her team, and they're carrying some boxes on Bentley's back. The other teams are Grue, Ballistic, and Sirius, as well as Trickster and Regent mounted on Genesis, who's turned into sort of a Bitch's dog-like form. Bentley and Sirius are the only dogs well-trained enough for this mission. And of course, Tattletale's on the walkie-talkies responding to cues from a video feed that Trickster has. Taylor is concerned about, the people that they're watching the Slaughterhouse 9 kill as they wait for everything to be in place to begin the plan. But of course, they need to prioritize the plan. All of the teams are assembling on rooftops where they're all going to have a view of the 9 simultaneously, sort of spread out to either side and kind of like behind where the 9 are. And step 1 of the plan is Ballistic lobs a large explosive device at Cherish, blowing her to smithereens. But at the last second, he gets cold feet. He's like, "She looks like Sadie, man," to Trickster, and Trickster's like, "You're imagining things." As Ballistic hesitates, Taylor notices that Cherish is turning to run to warn the other members of the 9. Regent's like, "Come on, if anyone gets to decide, it's me. She's my sister. You definitely should kill her." But now that their cover is blown, they go to plan B. Sundancer creates her son, starts having it sneak up on the 9, and Trickster swaps Cherish with a body on the street and shoots her with a sniper rifle. They wanted to get Cherish out of the plan as soon as possible because she was the one who was kind of most dangerous to them. And even if it was the only thing they did, it would help them in the future against the 9. Cherish goes down in a spray of blood and is left by her teammates lying on the field. The next part of the plan is for Sundancer to obliterate the other vulnerable members of the Nine with her son. Taylor is encouraging her to do it. She's hesitating. And finally, Sundancer's like, just tell me there are no bystanders. And Taylor looks, and she can see Jack and Bonesaw, taking cover so that Ballistic can't hit them. And Bonesaw actively stitching together living people who are being torn apart by her and Hackjob. Taylor thinking, we'll never have another shot like this again. And tells Sundancer there are no civilians. You've got to advance the sun forward. And the sun ends up rolling over Jack, Bonesaw, and Hatchetface. The rest of the Nine are starting to charge after the Unravelers' groups. Taylor's lost track of Siberian, and Tattletale realizes what's happened before we do. When Siberian saw the sun running towards them, she ran forward, dove on Jack and Bonesaw, and grabbed them to provide them immunity. So Hackjob got burned up in the sun, but when Sundancer eventually moves the sun away, Jack, Bonesaw, and Siberian are still alive. Crawler is unable to catch up to the Unravelers he's targeting because Trickster keeps swapping him with trucks. Basically, this part of the plan is to just really stall and avoid any direct confrontation using as many tricks as they can think of. Shatterbird is attacking Grue, but Grue is able to use his darkness to disrupt her power, her sound-based power, so hopefully he's not getting pelted that badly. He also is mostly equipped with Taylor's new costume, which should help him from getting cut up. Taylor's going after Shatterbird with her brown recluse spiders and her capsaicin bugs. And what forces Sundancer to finally kind of turn off her sun is Crawler diving towards it. They don't want to risk burning him up partially in the sun and failing, making him even stronger. The only upside to Siberian choosing to protect Jack and Bonesaw is that she's not chasing down the Unravelers while she does that. And while all of the delay and avoiding is happening, they unpack the boxes that were on Bentley. They have brought 2 boxes pre-rigged with mannequins kind of suspended from metal frames by spider silk. And at the last second, as members of the Nine are converging on the other rooftops, Trickster swaps the dummies with the other 4 members of the Unravelers, bringing them all together on one rooftop. Shortly before, with a flourish, Trickster detonates the rest of the explosive ordnance that had been carried to those other rooftops, hopefully delaying, if not actually hurting, the members of the Nine who had been following them. Now comes the final part of the plan. The Unravelers are in one location. The Nine are all converging on them. And the question is, does Shatterbird reach them faster through the air than Crawler and Siberian can reach them over the ground? Unfortunately, Shatterbird seems to be slower, which means they have to go to Plan B. Grue has volunteered to be swapped with Shatterbird as she approaches so that Regent can swing Shatterbird into the side of a building, knock her out, and have her fall into the waiting body of Genesis, who has become a sort of toad-like monster with a translucent, large stomach prison. And Shatterbird just kind of falls and gloops into a cell that she can't easily escape from, and that she stops trying to escape from once Taylor fills the stomach with Black Widow spiders and threatens to bite her and kill her. Having captured Shatterbird, they flee. They run to Cherish's body, fearing that Bonesaw can raise the dead, and scoop her up into Genesis as well. And they successfully evade the Nine as they retreat back to Coil's base. At the base, there is a custom-made cell for Shatterbird that is soundproofed, full of static noise, and basically has a place for her to get tied up so that Regent, wearing a safety suit, can go in and begin the process of making her one of his thralls. Brooks, one of the mercenaries, volunteers to help Shatterbird with the brown recluse spider bites. There's some discussion of whether Shatterbird will cooperate or try to do something desperate. And then they turn to dealing with Cherish, who is alive, injured, bleeding, but, they weren't really expecting to bring Cherish back in this condition. They were expecting to have killed her and brought back a body. So Regent warns them about the dead man switch around her neck with the little bomb. And they're basically like, okay, let's talk to Cherish. She's not actually any less dangerous inside of Genesis's stomach. And she seems willing to talk. But, I guess if anyone starts acting weird, Coil gives orders to shoot on sight. Coil also says, we're trying to get rid of the Slaughterhouse 9. We should kill her. And Taylor says, I didn't sign up to be an executioner. I don't want any part in this. But whatever they're going to do, they decide at least they're going to talk to Cherish for a little bit. Tattletale, with a couple of questions, is able to suss out the code to Cherish's bomb collar. But Cherish says, okay, I've got other bargaining chips. Hear me out. I'm working with Imp. The only reason I didn't tell the 9 about you sooner was because I thought maybe she had passed on word to you. And if you want to hear the rest of the story, you're going to have to, give me medical attention, keep me alive. And also, by the way, you swapped Grue with Shatterbird back there. Now the 9 have him. I can sense it with my power. And we talked before we got into this. We know what Regent's power is. Me, Shatterbird, we're compromised. There's not going to be any hostage negotiation. That's where we leave things.
Yeah, so Cherish is not necessarily telling the truth. It would be a smart thing for her to tell them, even if Grue in fact escaped. That said, I think there's a good chance the 9 do have Grue. It's also a smart thing for her to say if it's true. And they didn't seem to get that much pursuit on the way to Coil's base. Like, the dogs are fast, but, faster than Siberian?
Yeah, well, the evasive maneuvers involved, a lot of
doubles.
doubles,
Yeah.
Taylor using bug clones and stuff to distract them.
Right.
So if they didn't know what direction
Trickster
to go.
did some, swapping or something. Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't know. So, okay, maybe they just got lucky, but it would make sense that if they were hard to pursue, that they, the 9 would have gone after Grue. So I'm like, how would he really have escaped?
Yeah. And if Cherish is to be believed again, maybe once you're taken, even if they could have pursued, maybe they were willing to say, well, now that they've been close to Regent, maybe that's
right, there's no real
cause.
point in chasing them. Yeah. I will say, even without being able to use Shatterbird as a spy, because, that was never really going to work, because if the 9 knew, that could never have been the plan. There is the element of just, having Shatterbird on your side in battle. Mm-hmm. Pretty cool. That said, I wouldn't be surprised if Bonesaw had basically hacked all of the 9's bodies so that she could basically, make them bite a hollow tooth and, kill themselves remotely or something like that.
Ooh.
Yeah, just...
Yeah.
there's nothing off the table with Bonesaw.
Yeah.
We know that, I guess they're going to find out all the stuff, hopefully, at least most of the stuff that Bonesaw has done to her body. That will be fascinating to read about, and I bet Tattletale will be able to fill in any gaps. So that will be very helpful in terms of learning how to kill other members of the 9.
Yeah, I really enjoyed in this chapter, because we now, through Imp's interlude and through Jack's interlude, know so much more about the 9 than Taylor and the Unravelers do. So it was fun in this chapter to have the different moments of oh, I thought Crawler was a quadruped, but something's weird with this guy. And some other of the details, right? I don't think that they learn about the sheaths, but
no,
they will. You're right. They're sort of aware, right? And they do the thing where okay, well, now we know that Siberian can protect other people with her power, right? Which
we knew, but they had no reason to know. Tattletale figured out.
Exactly.
Yeah. Not only can she protect other people, she can transfer her invulnerability to any surface she touches so that when she runs across the ground, she can run super fast and not break the pavement or anything because she's invulnerable and it's invulnerable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I hadn't realized her power is just invulnerability. I don't know, there doesn't necessarily have to be another component of it.
Right.
Pure invulnerability will give you all of this stuff. You're not going to get any damage from, maybe she has, strength as well, but it seemed kind of
No, I mean, Taylor was saying, she runs sort of like battery, not like someone with super strength.
Yeah, it's it's like how Aegis could just go super hard because damage wouldn't hurt him in a way that would kill him. Damage doesn't hurt Siberian at all, so she can go super hard.
Yeah.
I'm not sure about the stripes. That might just have been something well, I guess she couldn't have gotten tattoos. Maybe it's just like a weird... Wouldn't be surprised if she were like a cauldron creation.
It's definitely... The way it's described
well, actually, we know, right? She and Shatterbird are the cauldron creations.
Yes. But, right, the way she's described is it's way beyond tattoos.
Right, yes. Oh, that's actually interesting. I wasn't thinking about the cauldron thing in this chapter, but they have Shatterbird captured. She is at this point the least likely to escape Brockton Bay, unless it ends up being like a prison transport situation where Battery does her thing.
This does now put the Unravelers a little bit at odds with
Battery, at least.
Battery.
Yeah. Gosh, there's just so much going on in this chapter.
Yeah, well, talking about the other night, I took us away from the ending.
That's true, yes. Grue is going to be a big problem. I mean, I don't think they're going to kill Grue. That would be so surprising. This story can do anything. I've said this before. Obviously, they could kill Grue. But I think there's more to be gotten out of attempts at rescue/negotiation. But, of course, any rescue will be a trap. And... a
snare, perhaps.
Yes. And the challenge is that you can't know what Bonesaw has done to Grue. You know she's going to do something. Like, this is a really rough situation that he's in. And now, the potential mole that they had is no longer effective. Like, Cherish can still voluntarily give them information, which could be helpful, although I'm not sure they can fully trust anything she says. But they were in a situation where potentially she could have been someone on the inside for them, and now they know she's compromised, even if they don't know she wanted to be.
Right.
So that's actually a real bummer. Like,
they didn't know of the wait for Imp to come back option.
I guess the 9 were just found really fast. Like, where the heck is Imp?
Yeah. Yeah, well, what Cherish says at the end did make me kind of go, uh-oh. She's like, maybe Imp passed on word somehow, as if that was unlikely to have happened since yesterday, right? Like, she's like, maybe somehow Imp got word to you guys.
Right.
That I was,
maybe it's just that it was fast.
Maybe, right. And then...
Well, because she would know where Imp is, so she knows Imp hasn't contacted them or, like, been in the same place as them.
Oh, that's interesting.
So it's not like she knows that Imp is, like, at the bottom of a sewer somewhere. Like...
No, right. But it does feel like why hasn't Imp
Right, she should have assumed.
Yet?
Yeah, she should be like, where's Imp? Why isn't she here with you?
Right.
I mean, I guess she knows where everyone is, so that wouldn't be a thing she'd say.
Right. But I guess maybe that could be part of it. Cherish is like, I know, I'll be able to track your movements, and so I want to make sure you don't go talk to them or something like that. Why
wouldn't she want him to go talk to them, though?
I don't know.
Like, that's so weird. If you're allying with people, you want everyone else to know about,
It's just the wording of, like, passed on word somehow made me think Cherish felt like Imp should not have been able to do that. And if it's been, like, most of an evening, there's no reason why Imp can't walk through a lot of the city in a few hours and get back to her territory.
I mean, Grue wanted them all to get sleep, so it could be the next morning.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's worrisome, but also confusing, because why would Cherish have sabotaged Imp's attempts to talk to them?
Yeah.
It's not like she wants to ally with just one member of the Unravelers.
Yeah. How reliable is Cherish?
Not very.
Well, so Imp's effect on the chapter is really interesting, right? So, like, did you, as I was recounting the story, or even on the first time through, have any suspicions about Ballistic?
Oh, no.
Because Taylor is watching Cherish the whole time for a sign, but we know Cherish knew and was kind of playing dumb, because she was like, I'll let them attack. But when she picked up on the fact that Ballistic was planning to shoot her... Of course she was
manipulating Ballistic. Yeah, right. That makes perfect sense.
It's this amazing thing where he's like, but, because what Cherish found in his head is this connection to some...
She looks a little like this girl from 7th grade, and Trickster's like, no, she doesn't.
Yeah. Which interesting little detail into their
about, like, how long they've known each other.
Right.
Yeah, no, that, of course. That didn't really occur to me, but of course that's true. I did suspect. So when they started mentioning Cherish, I was like, do they finally know about Cherish? Did we meet Imp off screen and, like, off page and find out? But no, they're clearly so worried about Cherish. And I was like, oh, you guys.
Yeah.
This could be going so much better if you just knew. But then I did suspect, I was like, Cherish definitely knows and is playing dumb. But it didn't occur to me that she'd be manipulating Ballistic. But of course she is, now that you say that. Yeah, that makes perfect sense.
And there's the moment when she starts to call out to the rest of the 9, because she's I think, detecting either that Ballistic is going to beat her, like Ballistic is going to attack her, or she's picking up now, oh no, Trickster's going to attack me somehow, and she starts to finally be like, okay, I have to warn the 9.
I thought maybe that was plausible deniability. She's like, it's like they're about to actually attack. I have to at least seem like I preempted this.
That maybe so. Maybe she's trying to play both sides.
Yeah.
But if not for Imp getting Cherish partially on side, this plan doesn't happen at all. Right?
Yes.
Because Cherish figures it out, the 9 take evasive maneuvers
it's already been valuable to have that.
Yeah. And similarly, if somehow they ended up capturing Shatterbird and getting Cherish's body back to the base regardless, I sort of feel like this scene at the end where Cherish is captive and they're like, should we kill her? Should we not kill her? I feel like if Cherish wanted to, she might, as soon as Regent was gone, I think she might have been able to get out of that situation.
I think so.
Right?
Yeah.
Like the sort of like, if anyone acts suspiciously, shoot them. But given how we've seen Cherish's power work, I'm quite worried about... She could have
sown chaos there.
Yeah. So again, I think the fact that...
She's partially on side.
The fact that she, is facing this fate worse than death from Bonesaw and Jack, and she's looking for a way out.
Yeah.
Right. It's very much like the plan goes so well, but like if not for Imp and Cherish's particulars, even this would not have worked.
It's true. Yeah, I mean, Cherish is just a really formidable opponent. So speaking of the plan going well, losing Grue, obviously a huge setback, huge emotional liability for the Undersiders in particular. And I don't think Taylor's going to let him, I don't think she's going to let him fall behind. She's not going to stick to the pirate code. But, all right, so there were 8 Slaughterhouse 9. Shatterbird and Cherish are captive. Mannequin might be dead? ? Taylor's not sure.
We didn't see him after that moment, I think.
And Taylor thought they might have killed him. I mean, probably Bonesaw will reanimate him. But that means they might be down to a Slaughterhouse 5.
Oh my god,
which is kind of cool, actually.
So Mannequin didn't do much in this chapter, but I am so incensed that he's just hanging out with them after his awful failure. Yeah. He gets to be part of the crew that's going to attack Dolltown. No. This is ridiculous.
They need to punish him because otherwise they're liars and cheats. Oh no, big news. Okay, but yeah, potentially they're down to 5 active members, which is still really intimidating, unfortunately.
Well,
but
Skitter pulls off, as far as we're aware, the best planned attack on the Slaughterhouse 9 ever.
That's probably ever happened. Right. Yeah, the heroes, it sounds like, have not done a good job against them.
Incredible coup.
It was a really good attack.
Yeah.
Oh, the layers, it was so fun to watch it play out. She's so good at this.
Yeah, the thing where she's like, okay, I have asked Genesis about her powers, and then within 24 hours, I will
Genesis
have deployed her to be a...
First of all, one of the dogs, which was funny and great.
Yes. But
and then, effective.
Yeah, she's a cage monster.
She was a cage monster. That was so perfect.
And Tinkers, eat your heart out. Skitter put some mannequins in some camping gear with spider silk and used Trickster's power for an amazing hero swap across, 3 city blocks.
Oh, it was beautiful. Trickster's power is really a trump card in a lot of these situations.
Yeah.
It
Get him on a roof.
lot like
Line of
Vista's
sight.
power, like just the ability to manipulate the battlefield.
Yes.
Except that it moves individuals rather than
Yes.
places. But yeah, it means that someone's coming after you. You can get rid of them.
Yeah.
You can stall them for a really long time.
And it's so funny, Ballistic and Sundancer are the, like, Traveler's heavy hitters, but the MVPs of the plan are Trickster and Genesis.
Yes.
In Skitter's hands, like the ones that are less obviously,
Right.
we will just blow you up, end up
Yeah.
being the super useful ones. I also feel like the plan is masterfully written, because the framing of it is like Taylor's giving us the pieces as they, work
Right.
or don't
Just
work as they go through.
Here's like part 3 or whatever.
Yeah, and the pieces of it that I love, right, you just never get the obvious move of, like, okay, well, these, like, teams of opponents going up after each other. Well, the first move is to shoot the dangerous ranged opponent in the head, right? Like, that should be step 1 of the plan, which makes a ton of sense in kind of, like, the real world, but is not usually a great sort of, like, narrative thing, because you want to, like, have a final confrontation
But in
with
fact,
Cherish.
that was,
And of course, you get to eat your cake too, because we know Cherish isn't going to die from being shot. Ballistic ends up being manipulated out of blowing her up. So, like, but at least the plan makes sense.
Right. It's that thing where, like, why don't you just get a sniper rifle and kill the,
Right, like, you should start by blowing up Cherish.
Yes.
Right. Similarly,
she's read the evil overlord list.
Similarly, what the Sundancer Sun thing, I've been kind of joking about, like, yeah, it just depends on how many casualties you want there to be. Just, like, drop the sun on Jack. And we see here,
but sadly,
of course,
there's a counter move.
Siberian is there, and Siberian's going to protect Jack and Bonesaw. And so now they know that will never work if Siberian is there.
Right, and that is kind of like the first blow is always going to fail in this kind of situation.
Exactly.
Like against the Sheaths.
And, like, Genesis is there on the battlefield at the beginning, so you don't even get the, like, oh, Genesis must be key to their plan because she hasn't shown up yet, right? But then when the dog job is done, you forget about her, and she comes back again later in the chapter.
And they're like, they're only 2 dogs. I'm like, oh, yeah, I guess they're only 2 dogs. And I wasn't even thinking about Genesis really in that moment.
Yeah, and it's so beautifully constructed so that, like, everybody's power matters and is useful, and, like, all of the characters kind of play well together. It's a great showing for the Unravelers and for Wildbow for concocting this particular scenario. I really, really liked it.
I was thinking with Ballistic and Sundancer's responses, I hadn't realized when I was thinking this that Ballistic's was manipulated to some extent. But I was thinking about Coil's thing where the Travelers are more powerful, but the Undersiders are more affected by his power. Mm-hmm. And when we first heard that, I was like, oh, probably because the Undersiders are, like, more creative. So if he's, like, nudging odds, but he's not nudging odds. He has these 2 scenarios. Mm-hmm. So I think it must be that the Undersiders are more flexible. Mm-hmm. And I think part of that, not all of it, like, I think part of it is, like, their ingenuity and stuff. But part of that is that the Travelers have a lot they're just not willing to do. And the Undersiders, I mean, they still have lines they don't want to cross. They have Taylor, who definitely has a lot of lines she doesn't want to cross. But the fact that the Travelers' heavy hitters are both very, very leery of killing anyone or injuring bystanders does mean that there might not be as many modes that the Travelers can go on.
Yeah.
Like, they could probably go on kill everyone mode or don't kill everyone mode, but they're never going to go on that first mode, so... it's like Sundancer was saying, it can be kind of tricky to deploy her in Ballistic if you don't just want to have a lot of...
And it is, we don't know them. We know Sundancer a little bit as a character, but, like, we don't really know either of them in a lot of depth at this point. So it's...
Yeah, we haven't had any Traveler interludes, right?
No.
Yeah.
No. What I was going to say is they do also have much more overtly lethal powers than anyone on the other side. So it is, as much as it is their personalities, it's like it's fitting with the power, right?
Right.
If
Taylor
Sundancer
and Bitch could kill someone, but they're not going to do it by accident.
Right. If Sundancer had the personality of Bakata, right? Either just
my gosh.
There's a part of the world you don't go to anymore because the sun is there.
Right. Or, she actually affects the climate.
Somebody would have killed her much earlier because of how much damage she was doing.
Yeah, it's good that they don't have the personality of Bakuda, given the powers they have. And also, no one should have that personality.
Well, you were talking about Taylor in line she doesn't want to cross. Let's check in on our girl in this chapter. Because she is fully in plan mode. Mm-hmm. She pulls it off incredibly well. But did any of I don't know, the things that she's thinking and feeling and doing in the chapter jump out to you?
So definitely the lie to Sundancer, but I don't feel like that's out of step with Taylor's character. Like, as far as I can tell, the only bystanders who were around when Sundancer asked that question were the ones who were being brutally ripped apart by Bonesaw.
Yeah, that's my read as well.
I think Taylor would have wanted them to be put out of their misery.
Yeah.
So I don't think she wanted to get into that debate with Sundancer. She didn't want to be like, well, there are bystanders, but they'd be better off if you killed them. Like, that's just not going to fit. I
went back. There was that line when Taylor asks Tattletale how many people are there around here, and Tattletale says like 5 to 20. And so I did go back and reread that to make sure that they weren't saying like, and there were some bystanders that got destroyed by Sundancer's son. But I don't think...
I think it was just Bonesaw's victims.
Exactly. I don't think there's any reason to think that it was more than Taylor saying these people are already suffering a fate worse than death.
So there's something kind of ruthless about that, but... very much in line with Taylor's morality.
Her willingness to lie to Sundancer and to almost like be a sin eater. Like she's like, well, I will make this call. Right. I know you won't make the right call. And we've also seen Taylor sometimes be sort of pedantic and like correct people and stuff. You know, so like there's definitely a part of Taylor that would think to say, well, actually, there are some civilians.
There are civilians, but they're dying and being like brutally ripped apart. So
right, so like Taylor is able to overcome that part of her personality in this moment.
Yes, in the service of the plan, and she uses people so well. Her plan just uses all their capabilities so brilliantly, but she doesn't want to direct it in the moment.
Yeah, she said she wanted Grue to be... She's
more comfortable having Grue do it. He's going to be better at it, commander. And also,
Yeah.
And that makes sense to me because she is someone who can get a little bit overly analytical and in her head, and possibly Grue will do a better job thinking about what everyone else needs to hear versus just like the role that Taylor needs them to play.
Yeah.
Because we've talked about how Taylor is like, well, I need bitch to do this thing. I'll tell bitch to do this thing. And she doesn't think about like, what will bitch need to hear and understand in order to be willing to do this thing?
Right.
And so possibly Grue will do better at that in the moment. But also I feel like she's still just growing into this role. And she just doesn't quite want to step into that part of it yet.
Yeah.
I think we will see her more comfortable doing that at some point.
Interesting. Yeah. I'd like that. I wanted to call out some of her thoughts earlier in the chapter, right? Because there's the thing with Sundancer. Mm-hmm. But earlier she is watching Jack mow people down. Yeah. And she's thinking, how many lives would be lost while we're waiting for the plan to go into action? And I'm like... yeah, Taylor, this is how war works. Yeah. It's like your standard can't be nobody dies, right?
But that's one of those things where, like, the fact that she is a villain lets her make that call, which is absolutely the right call, because you can't just be like, no, Jack, don't kill those people, because that's not going to work. Like, he's just going to kill more people. Yeah. But possibly, if the Protectorate were there, I don't know if, like, maybe individuals or, like, the Protectorate Code or whatever, like, just, like, the kind of the rules they have to live by, maybe they wouldn't be comfortable making that call. Maybe it would look too bad for heroes to kind of wait to attack while civilians are being killed. And that's actually, if that's true for the heroes, that's a huge liability for their tactical success.
Yes. Pigo being like, yeah, no, I know the strategy's better, but we gotta get you fly as fast as possible straight at that villain. Or else.
Right, because optics are a huge part of it. And Taylor being a villain means that she's free of the optics question.
Well, okay.
She doesn't have to worry about optics when she's rendering someone blind.
I like that angle. I am wondering if Taylor is like making excuses for herself a little bit. I know maybe you might say I'm being unfair to her here, but what she thinks is, I so wanted to jump in and save those people, but it would be suicide. Our priority was stopping the 9. Right, so I wonder how much she is feeling it versus thinking it. Because it's so interesting.
She's just like, I mean, yeah, of course I want to save them, but I can't.
Because Taylor's moral sense that I love about her is something that is so overwhelming emotionally that it like will make her, you know, like storm off away from the Undersiders. It will make her stay at that merchant's party and do something really risky and dangerous and saving Charlotte, right? Like, it's like there's sort of no questions asked. And so she's gotten herself into this situation where she is like pre-committed to carrying out this plan. And I wonder if she's feeling it as strongly, you know, in this moment, or if she's sort of like wrestling a little bit with like, well, it's uncomfortable to not be able to try to save those people, but like actually, I'm committed to the plan. Right?
I mean, I'm sure that she wants to be able to save the people, of course, but I don't think she wants it with the same fervor, like you were saying. Like, she's not... These aren't her people in her territory. These aren't people that she's watching in great detail. I mean, probably deliberately, because she can't get swept up in that sort of emotional sense of morality.
Yeah.
I think she's, you know, holding herself a little bit distant from it.
Yeah.
I see no reason to think that she doesn't want to save them, though. I mean, if you were watching people being mowed down in the street, you would want it to not be happening. But, like, you would also know that, like, you maybe don't have any hope of stopping it.
I'm just asking the question. I wonder if she's actually feeling it, or she knows she should be feeling it more than she is. This is sort of a thing that I'm wondering about, because she's so focused on the tactics and stuff.
That's
and
true.
Again, she doesn't have... It's kind of the thing that she and Brian were fighting about. She doesn't have any individual connection to these people in the same way that she was able to like really identify with Charlotte, this like one person.
Yeah, which is sort of letting her be utilitarian in a way that I think is good. Like she said, it would be suicide. It would be a very bad plan. It would result in more people dying if she tried to stop Jack.
What about her lack of cold-blooded killer instinct with Cherish at the end there? What did you make of that? Because this is another thing where, again, we've had her reflecting about her killer instinct, and I do wonder in the moment, how much is she like, you know, I feel like we should kill her, but I can't, or I feel like now that she's a prisoner of war, we couldn't kill her. And kind of what she says is like, again, this feels a little uncomfortable, and she says, I'm not going to stop you.
Yeah.
I didn't sign up to be an executioner. But we're missing the Taylor with a sense of moral outrage that is a Taylor that we've seen a lot in the story so far. And of course, she has whatever she's feeling in this moment, and she also has this desire to not screw up again in front of Coil now that she is feeling like she's turning things around.
Yeah, I think there's a big part of it that's she doesn't want to, piss Coil off when, I mean, he goes on to say, like, you know, something about how he's really impressed with her. And
exemplary.
And she's like, ooh, does this mean I can ask to free Dinah? No, this is not the actual moment to do that. There are people here where it wouldn't make sense to
that was the moment when I was like, oh, this is emotional Taylor. Like, she almost says, ooh, free Dinah now. Right? She's like, did I do it? Right? And then she has to be like,
oh, baby,
okay, no, wrong time.
Baby, no, wrong
time.
I mean, there's just no reason that he should free her at any point, because there's like Taylor has no real leverage over him. But
I feel like there's a little bit of self-satisfaction in Taylor. The sort of like, I turned this around so hard. She's not having any of that despairingness, right? She's not thinking, I have failed my people, you know, and I need to atone for that. She's not thinking like, my territory's in a ruin, so I can never ask that. She's thinking like, if I bring it up now, he might bring up the burn scar thing. Like, I feel like she's feeling better in this moment and thinking about some of those things that she was feeling negative about before. So it's very interesting, you know, the sort of like executing on the plan, pulling it off.
Yeah, I mean, she did an amazing job.
Exactly. And we've seen her before struggle to be like happy with her successes, right? But so like compared to when she was fighting Mannequin and sort of like she sees no way out, here she's like, wow, I did this amazing thing. I captured, members of the Slaughterhouse Nine. Now, this is something that criminal mastermind Coil will love me for, or at least respect me for.
Right, and she doesn't want to ruin that, but being like, no, you can't kill one of them. And I also just wonder if there's a part of her that is like, yeah, it would be better if Cherish weren't alive, but I don't want to be the one to say that she should be killed.
Yeah.
And I think there might be a little bit of both.
Yeah.
And it was so ironic also, because I was like, no, Cherish is the last one you should kill. Like, at least get her help before you kill her.
Yeah, right. There's sort of definitely a narrative reason to keep her around. But I was wondering, how do you feel about Slaughterhouse 9 prisoners of war? Because we talked about, like, Cherish, useful information, Shatterbird, useful weapon. But, like, how do you feel, Regent said in the chapter sort of like, hey, here's some reminders of some fucked up stuff that Cherish has done. Like, you should definitely kill her.
Honestly, I feel like I'm not sure there's anything any of them can do to the Slaughterhouse 9 that I feel like would be unfair.
Yeah.
That said, I think there are probably things they could do to the Slaughterhouse 9 that would hurt them as, like, doing it.
Exactly, yeah.
Regent, that part of him is already very hurt. I don't know that new damage is being done here.
Yeah.
There's a whole separate question of can he be healed from that, but that's, a little beside the point right now. Yeah. So I'm sure there are types of torture they could enact on the Slaughterhouse 9 members that would be damaging to their own humanity. But keeping them as prisoners, yeah, go for it.
Yeah. There's definitely a part of me that sees, this woman being strung up in a cell in just her slip. She's
the fact that she's wearing like a silk slip or whatever.
Yeah, she's going to be cavity surged. It's like pushing all these buttons for me of like unfair treatment, and then there's a part of me that has to be like, but this is Shatterbird.
Yeah, it didn't really register with me.
I'm not even saying it should register with anyone else. It's just funny to me how like I feel like my priors are so far in one direction. You like anti-carceral, like this would be bad, but it's like, oh, actually, and it's, I guess what it is a reminder of, right, is the power of labels, right? Like, I am so used to being skeptical of people who are labeled as deserving of this kind of treatment.
Right.
That when somebody comes along who actually is, probably,
Yeah.
Except for the sense of nobody deserves this. Shatterbird definitely
deserves this. Yeah.
As does Cherish.
I mean, just what Shatterbird does when she arrives at a city so that people will be impressed with her and how scary she is. She kills just like hundreds of thousands of people. Like... Yeah.
Now, does that mean, like, would I rather have them just kill her versus having... what Regent does to people is truly awful.
Against the rest of the 9.
Well, I'm sure we will have a chance to talk about that in a future chapter. So let's table that.
What Regent does to people is awful. But yeah, if anyone deserves it. Like, Sophia did not deserve it.
Yeah.
She deserved some of the tortures that were brought upon her, as part of that. But like you were saying, it's like no one should really ever do that to anyone. But like Shatterbird, like the rest of the 9, so far towards the end of like deserving absolutely anything that can be thrown at them that like it's splitting hairs to say that she doesn't deserve this.
We also had like the canary example, right? Even in this story, and sort of the way that they treated her, they like, I forget if they covered her in foam or what, but they had her in some device in the courtroom because of how inherently dangerous her powers were. And it was like so unjust, right?
Yes. Yeah, but, she had done one bad thing and it was an accident.
Oh, yeah, no, I'm
not defending Shatterbird.
I'm not trying to even put the characters on a scale or something. I'm just talking about, like, this is a world where what people can do is so beyond real-life human capability.
Yeah.
You do have to question your priors about what it's okay to do to a person.
Yes.
When people can be capes.
People can be capes. Well put. Yeah, I do wonder if Cherish is not reliably on their side, which is likely, because she wants to play both sides to her own advantage.
Yeah.
Like, she's not on the side of the Slaughterhouse 9, but... hey, if she managed to take down all their enemies, like, maybe they'd welcome her back. You never know. I mean, maybe she just wants out anyway, and she will be helpful to them, but still not in a way that you can actually trust. Is there any way they could imprison her that would not have them all be subjected to her emotional manipulation? And in fact, was there any emotional manipulation happening in that last scene? Maybe that's why Taylor decided not to stop Coil. Maybe there was just a little bit of feather on the scale. A Cherish feather.
You know, I wasn't even thinking about that in the final scene, because I was like, oh yeah, well, you know, Cherish doesn't need to.
No, right? She didn't need to.
But certainly the decision-making around we should let Cherish out, I wouldn't be surprised if she was sort of dampening all of their anxieties.
Yes, right? I'm sure there was some subtle stuff like that. Yeah. It's probably stuff like she, you know, it's so low level. She doesn't even think about it, really.
Yeah. It's also interesting. Do you think Coil still has his other timeline going? Or do you think that at a certain point, like, there's an option where the other timeline went so bad, he's already collapsed them? Or there's an option where, like, he got results in both timelines and he's picking, you know, or, like, the jury's still out, right? So, like, do you think that he still had a backup when he chose to let Cherish out? Or do you think that when it's like, oh, well, we got Shatterbird, that's the best we can do, so, yep, we're, you know...
I think once they arrived at his base with Cherish and Shatterbird in tow, he started another split.
Yeah.
Because, like, that's such
sense.
A good outcome. Presumably the other timeline wasn't as good. And so now he wants to make sure he maximizes on that good outcome. So if it turns out, oh, actually Cherish is going to, you know, manipulate everyone, like maybe he can just order her killed right away.
Right. Honestly, the kill Cherish, don't kill Cherish is a great timeline split.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you kill her and then you see what she says in the other timeline. Maybe you learn something interesting and then you cancel that timeline. Or maybe it goes okay and you keep that one going.
And you can always reconverge and then say kill Cherish and then split again, right? You can do that a couple of times. So we'll see how it goes.
Oh, that's a great point. Yeah.
Or it's possible it's like the kill Cherish and they shoot her, they cut her up, and he's like, what the crap are all these sheaths? Okay, get rid of this timeline. Like we don't even know how to kill her. Like let's not be so hasty.
I actually forgot when she was shot. I forgot about the sheaths. I'm sure that's why she didn't die. She has, protective stuff. I will be really curious. I said this already, but I just really want Tattletale to see what they find in scanning Shatterbird, and I just want to hear about what Bonesaw has done to their bodies. 'Cause I'm just like...
It's a great chapter for Lisa, with her seeing the Siberian ploy, you know, before it's spelled out for the reader, and then being able to just be like, so Cherish, computers? And then Cherish is like, and then tries to stop, but Lisa's like, too late, got your password in too.
Really incredible work. And we know how hard it can be for her to come up with passwords.
Yeah,
like we saw her working on it in her interlude, but she can do it.
So I wanted to talk about the sacrifice, Grue.
Yeah.
Because there are a couple of good beats, right? So we talked about how, like, you know, it's Taylor's plan.
Yeah.
Right? We learned a little bit about this contingency at the end, where Taylor's like, and then Shatterbird will fly to us really fast through the air and we'll capture her. And Lisa was like, I don't know if she's going to be the fastest. So plan B is the sort of like, well, we have to swap with her to get her to come closer. And what Taylor says is, you up for this, Grue? I asked. I could do it. My plan, and I was first to volunteer. Grue says, no, you can't run fast enough with those burns, as he sort of goes, you know, through with it. And then when he's talking to Trickster, he says, sooner than later. Trickster's like, do you want to die? Because, right, Shatterbird's just flying through the air. And Grue says, no, but I'm willing to break something. Your call, Trickster said. 3, 2, 1. And then Grue jumps. And we see him land on a rooftop, but struggle to his feet. And that's the last that we see of him in the chapter. But I feel like I really like the way this writing sets up the tension. Because we do get the, like, Grue being faced with the possibility of his own mortality and him saying, I'm willing to break something. And I feel like there's this ambiguity that reminds me a little bit of when Taylor's running to Danny and it's unclear whether she actually, like, saved him, whether what she did mattered. I feel like here, Grue is a little bit hasty, which is out of character for him, but he's a little bit like, swap me now. And we see him struggling to his feet. Like, was Grue's choice to go a little faster here the thing that let them get away? because they were just a few seconds faster?
Yeah.
Or was it needlessly self-sacrificing? And he could have waited and maybe, like, been a little less unsteady and, like, gotten away, right? Like, I love that we don't get anything in this chapter that says, you know, like, Grue made the heroic sacrifice, or Grue wasted this and he was foolish, right? Like, it really straddles that line very finely.
Yeah, so it does seem, I was just looking, it does seem like Grue was planning to get away. So like, no, you can't run fast enough with those burns.
Absolutely.
Because it occurred to me, I was like, what if they deliberately sent him to be, I mean, I don't know
what
the way
Taylor reacts, my heart skipped a beat, you know, or stopped for half a second.
Mid-beat. Yeah. It seems like no. I'm not sure I can imagine a plan that would be effective with Grue as sort of like a man on the inside. Like, what's he going to do? Blow them up, you know?
Yeah, no,
he doesn't have any powers that are good for that, even. Like, Tattletale would be better to send, but also a disaster. Yeah, so I do think he was hoping to get away. Yeah.
And he's got the best power for it, too.
Yeah, really good evasive power.
Yeah.
Taylor could also potentially do it with, like, bug doubles, but his is much better.
I was also thinking a little bit with the, like, you up for this, Grue? Both the scene back when they were about to go up against Empire 88, and she's, like, worried about Grue pushing himself too far, and he's stubborn and ends up, like, passing out when they're fighting Night and Fog. And then also the dynamic just a couple of chapters ago when Taylor's, like, ready to run out and get herself killed. And Grue holds her back.
Yeah.
And here, Taylor being, like, you know, a little bit pushing to say, you don't need to do this, I could do it. And in fact, I wanted to do it. But then letting Grue kind of make the call.
Yeah. I want to know why they couldn't just find another mannequin.
Yeah.
Like, can't they just drop something else off the side of the building?
Yeah.
Did it have to be a person?
It's a good point.
That's why I'm wondering, like, did they want him on the inside somehow? But I can't imagine they would. I mean, Bonesaw's just going to, like, make a horrible creation out of him. Yeah,
and that's where, you know, maybe that's where having a tinker would be useful, just to improvise those things. Because, and if they knew it was more of a 50-50, then, like, this was the plan B and it was only in a desperate attempt, right?
You know who they have? They don't have him, but Coil has a tinker. Coil has Chariot.
That's true.
I wonder if he'll ever end up with these guys.
That's true.
Huh. Side thought. Yeah, but that is an interesting character dynamic. Like, both Grue and Taylor are maybe pushing themselves a little bit and being a little self-sacrificing and protective of the other one, and maybe of the others in general. And that's also, like I was talking about, sort of the good push and pull they had of, you know, one of them being okay at a time.
Yeah.
And that sort of, like, both of them wanting to sacrifice themselves for the other one, or just, like, both of them being protective of the other one, is also an element I really like of their dynamic. It's a good thing to have balanced.
Well, part of why I am taking on this phrasing here is, again, just the vibe I'm getting from Taylor in this chapter. I'm not feeling Taylor in this moment saying, Grue, let me go. Let me do it. She's sort of saying, you up for this? It's a little bit checking in, but it also reminds me of, like, you know, we share the task of putting our toddler down for bed. And I do this all the time. I'll say, like, oh, are you up for taking her up, putting her to bed? And hoping that you will say yes. That you will say yes and I will not have to do it because I don't want to do it. Right? So, like, I see in this moment the possibility that Taylor is, like, offering this with the hope and expectation that Grue will continue to be, like, that this is his role, right, in the plan. And she's like, I will feel better if I ask, right, give the other person an out, but I really hope they don't take that out.
I think that's right. I think she really does. And Grue would be a better person to do it. Although, didn't he, like, hurt his leg or something really recently?
Yeah, I mean, right. I guess it hasn't come up. I feel like it would have come up. But
he's also, like, he probably broke something in that drop. Like, nightmare.
Yeah.
No wonder he got caught. I'm very worried about him. His hands.
Yeah, you know, you had been talking about Undersiders that could die. He was not near the top of your list.
No, I would be
feel like
very surprised if he died.
If Regent had gotten captured, if Bitch had gotten tech captured, you might be more worried for their survival than than you're worried about Brian right now.
Yeah, I mean, also, both siblings are in the wind right now. We have no idea what happened to Imp.
That's another interesting narrative play.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah.
Maybe Imp will be able to find him once they find her. That's probably what they will do, actually. They'll send an Imp. Because she'll want to go, and she's the one who'd be best at it. She already did it.
We were just talking about how she needs to get out from under Brian's wing.
Yeah, and Mannequin is maybe dead. So, yeah, rescuing Brian would be a great way to do it. Ooh, I want that for her.
Or Mannequin's not dead, and Brian was successfully hiding in his darkness, and Mannequin said, he's right there.
It's possible. Yeah, okay, so the ones who are left... Jack and Bonesaw we know, and Crawler and Burnscar cannot sense Imp. We don't know about Siberian.
Mm-hmm.
It could be that, like, she's just impervious to everything, including Imp's, like, forgetfulness thing, which would be bad.
Have we seen her... I don't know that we've seen her have any kind of, like, power nullifying effect. Like, obviously powers that are, like, brutish or blastish, she's resistant to, but...
Right,
yeah,
right.
Yeah, that's interesting.
We just haven't really seen anyone use any kind of power.
We haven't seen her disoriented in Grue's darkness or something. Like, yeah, that's really
We have no idea how Grue's darkness would affect her. Yeah. Unclear. Maybe she's the one who found him, because she's not affected by the darkness.
Yeah.
She's, I think, the only one we don't know will be affected by Imp's power.
Right.
So that's a little bit of a wild card. We'll see. Loved the mention of Dolltown. Apparently it's in Ballistic's territory, and he hasn't gotten around to, like, driving her out yet or something. I hope he doesn't. Dolltown is awesome. Parian is awesome.
I know.
And, like, I mean, I guess it depends what kind of, like, can't he just, like, have her be, like, subject to him or something?
Interesting.
But he just hasn't dealt with her yet, I guess. Maybe he's not going to drive her out.
Yeah. I mean, it is kind of, like, it would be kind of fun to see, like, Ballistic versus Parian and Flechette or something.
Ooh.
You know, like, I feel like Ballistic and Flechette have very compatible, you know, strengths and weaknesses. Yeah, they're both ranged, yeah. But I like, again, we just want the gang to all get together. We want all the people we like to be friends. So,
well, look, they're doing such good work against the 9 here.
Yeah.
The heroes should be thankful for it.
Yeah. Yeah, and so, yeah, what did you make of sort of, like, the 9 sort of taking a trip to Dolltown? I feel like there's no reason to second guess tattletale speculation about it, but it's just so funny to me that they're just like, yep, we're here, we're out and we're walking.
Yeah, we're doing these tests, but we're still going to have a little bit of fun and just slaughter a bunch of people.
Right, it's almost like, Birdscar's doing whatever, it's her turn, so we're going to have fun. We're still on vacation.
I don't think it was a trap. Like, they didn't seem very prepared for an attack, and they didn't do super well.
Oh, I mean, yeah, they lost Hack Job at the very least.
They lost Hack Job. They lost Shatterbird. They lost Cherish.
Didn't seem to care about that. No one went for her when she got knocked out.
No one minded losing Cherish, I don't think. But still, you know, she was an asset to them. While Grue did get captured, that was very much as a result of the Unravelers' plan. It wasn't like the 9 doing something clever. There was the thing where Jack was just grinning the entire time.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was, you know, interesting.
What that reminded me of was how Lisa is always chipper and smiling. Yeah. So I was wondering... I mean,
it could be a
how much of it is an act and how much of it is, like, Jack is actually thrilled that they got attacked and it was so exciting. Like, he's like, I got to be inside the sun.
I mean, that was probably cool, being invulnerable inside the sun. I love the ambiguity because it lets you worry that the 9 have something up their sleeves or that Jack has something up his sleeves.
Yeah.
It also lets you hope that, like, he's just fronting.
Mm-hmm.
And I also think it's perfectly plausible that even if things aren't going super well for him and he doesn't have a clear plan, he's like, ooh, things just got interesting.
Right. He's certainly not worried for his own sake.
Right. He is comfortable with the protection that Siberian is offering him.
Yeah. Or maybe he got off a little on almost dying. And he's like, oh, yeah. That's the
cool.
good stuff. Oh, I did have a thought when I brought up the sort of what are the 9 doing. I do kind of wonder if they're, like, taunting Legend if he's around. Because they did set up the games and stuff, right? But given how little anyone besides Jack seems to care about it, I do wonder if they're like, well, it's fun if we go through with the death games, but it's also fun if we're bad enough that Legend fights us and then we can blow up the city. You know, like, I kind of think they're like,
point.
they win either way. Yeah.
Where the heck is everyone else?
Yeah.
Where are the chosen? Where are the pure? Yeah. Where are the heroes? Where's, I guess, Fault Line's crew has been hired by Coil.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
But...
Right, and if they have then why can't they fold them in? That is really interesting.
Well, they can't fold them in because they don't want Fault Lion's crew to know that the Unravelers are working for Coil.
Yeah.
Because Coil is still biding his time.
I guess it's a circle of trust thing, and it's also like, I guess Taylor's plan could get better if she had other capes to rely on, but I'm not sure that she would trust one of those other teams to work in concert the same way the Unravelers are working together.
Yeah, and it's great having this sort of tight... How many are there in the field right now? Well, I guess there were 9 of them in the battle. Because we don't have Imp, we don't have Noelle, we don't have Oliver.
Yeah.
Who maybe doesn't have powers. Oh, yeah, so we found out that the Travelers have... Well, at least that Ballistic and Trickster were in, 7th grade together?
Right. They go way back.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they all, had a trigger event together, or... I mean, I'm not sure why they'd have such different powers if so, but...
Right.
Yeah, there are deep roots there.
Yeah. Because I think we heard a little bit about, like, people who get powers together have, like... tend to be people that have, like, small... Like the powers are related or connected in some way.
Yeah.
And the Travelers do feel like they each have very distinct powers. They don't represent the Parahumans 101 concept of, like, a shared trigger event.
Right,
cape.
definitely not.
Obviously, Dr. Armstrong doesn't know everything. Speaking of Trickster, he is also happy to stall before they blow up the rooftops after their swap. Trickster rolled his shoulders, stretched his neck, and adjusted his hat. "Don't waste time," Grue growled. "Do it! Times like this call for a certain flourish," Trickster said. It reminds me of when he's like, "I thank you for your service to our
gosh,
cause,"
absolutely.
before switching the body with Clock Blocker. Like, this guy really likes to, it's like he's quipping to himself. He's not even like showing off, but he's
just performing for the void.
Yeah, exactly. He's got this kind of...
Yeah, I would say, like, maybe he's, like, uncomfortable blowing up the rooftops or whatever, but no, it's just that this is how he is. He's just a showman.
Sort of blasé, unhurried. One Taylor moment that I loved is she reflects that she's, like, oh yeah, you know what? Like, there's so much adrenaline, my legs don't hurt. Or maybe it's the drugs. The same drugs that Dinah takes. No, don't think about that. I was also thinking about how, like, she was so, afraid of drugs in the ABB arc. And here she's like, well, yeah, I need to painkillers. She's willing to
take them in order to be in this fight.
Exactly.
I mean, it is legitimate for her to have painkillers with, like, her legs burned like that.
Yeah. And, like, pedantic Taylor coming out being like, there are 2 ways this could go. Well, there's a third way where we all die, but I'm hoping that won't happen.
Yeah.
Speaking of hope, I did like the beat at the end of the chapter where Cherish is like, no hostage swap. Because we had that beat last arc where she can sense Taylor's hope. So I'm wondering if it's sort of implying that Taylor's like, okay, we'll trade Shatterbird back. And Cherish is like, no. I can tell someone out there is feeling like that's a possibility, and I want to shut that down.
Yeah. I mean, they couldn't. Like, Grue would be so furious if they traded Shatterbird for him. They have to keep their advantage. He made a sacrifice. Don't let it go to waste.
Oh, that's so interesting.
Imp is going to rescue him, and my prediction, Imp is going to take a leading role in rescuing him. They will rescue him, but he's going to have problematic Bonesaw tech implanted in him. And it's going to be sort of a larger thing, figuring out how to rescue him from that.
Oh, no.
So that might be sort of an ongoing problem for him. Yeah.
Fate worse than death? Bonesaw situation?
No, I don't think so.
Okay.
More of a, like, I don't know, more of a fate like chronic illness kind of thing.
Yeah.
Where he's, like, hampered by something that, takes a while to resolve, is my guess. I also did predict that an Undersider would lose a major body part. Could be him.
Or maybe gain a major body part from Bonesaw.
Fun. Yeah. Is she someone who attacks dicks? We may find out.
Oh my goodness.
It would
don't like that.
No.
I don't like that.
Yeah. Be an interesting wrinkle in the Sunbug story.
Taylor obliterating dicks. Always funny. Love to see it. Getting into like Bonesaw genital mutilation. I'm starting to.
No.
I'm really starting to run for the hills here.
Yeah. That was, random spoiler for Game of Thrones, the point at which I stopped watching Game of Thrones.
Fair. That's fair.
You got out
when the getting out was good.
Yeah.
You really saved yourself some pain. I also liked the Black Widows coming back when Taylor is definitely not bluffing, like willing to kill Shatterbird. And I also like that Shatterbird is smart enough to recognize the spiders and be like, oh man.
Yeah, no, that was great.
Because Shatterbird at any point could choose to force them to kill her, and she's like,
she's choosing
hasn't gotten that desperate yet, even though Lisa sees that as a possibility.
Yeah, Taylor got to use her writing. I loved her using the bugs to spell out stop. And then she sends all the Black Widows through Genesis's
sumo wrestler frog bubble cage monster.
A cool form.
It's amazing.
I was wondering, what did she focus on?
And then
clearly when trapping abilities.
They go pick up Cherish, and Taylor describes Cherish getting dragged along the pavement for a few seconds before getting absorbed.
Swooped into,
I love to see it. I love to see it. It's so funny.
Just what a brilliant form Genesis had.
Also, Regent playing very bleak comic relief when he's like, no, you should kill Cherish. If anyone gets she's my sister. It's take my sister.
Gonna get sentimental about
Take
it.
her out. I don't want her no more. Regent also a little cavalier about the Dead Man Switch explosive device. It's Regent was still within earshot. And he's like, oh yeah, by the way. I guess the plan was never to capture her, they were planning to kill her. But it's still funny that...
Right, he was all walking away. He was like, oh yeah, by the way, she might blow you up.
Funny. It's so funny.
He's probably focused on how he's going to have to take over Shatterbird's mind. Gotta be focused for that. Gotta concentrate.
I love just the choice of words. We parked the dogs. Makes sense. And then I have one little wild boism detail that I want to speculate on. I'm not 100% on these. That children's book did end up being a real world children's book, but Domain Soft Tower, one of the towers that they're on, that they call out as being, so it's spelled Demesnes, pronounced domain.
Okay.
I think it's French. You're the one who knows French, right? Yeah. So this is the most general spoilers for how the magic system can work in Pact and Pale. There are 3 things that practitioners of magic can acquire. An implement that sort of symbolizes your magic, a familiar, and a domain. Spelled this way, but that's kind of, the place that is yours, uniquely yours, where you are most powerful. And so the idea of, in the worm world, that there's a domain soft tower, if in fact that is a reference to the Maggie Holt books or other media, this is sort of a Palantir equivalent, where it's a big tech company that's making a fantasy illusion in the naming of their company. Right. So I don't know if that is what was intended here, but I really like the idea of this being a very obscure Pact/Pale reference in Worm.
Nice.
That's all I wanted to say. Can I tell you how the next chapter starts?
Yeah.
Where is he? I growled.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
We're still in it.
Yeah. I think the question of where Imp is going to have to come up very, very soon.
I certainly hope so. We got a few chapters to go. This is not the last chapter of the arc, so...
This is, of course, one of those situations where they had a really, really good fight. Worked out really well for them. And now things are going to swing in the other direction.
Whee!
So, I think the 9... they're getting their own back against Grue. Poor Grue. Grue, more like shrank.
So rude. So Grued.
But he is going to be okay, right? Right?
That's your prediction. My lips are sealed. Until...
next time.
On Inchworm. Worm is a web serial by J.C. McRae. You can read Worm at parahumans.wordpress.com and support the author at patreon.com/wildvote. Follow us on Tumblr and Blue Sky at Inchworm Podcast, or find our Discord link and any other updates on inchwormpodcast.com.